All right, replacing the startup with the Foundup within the next 10 years. That's my goal. If I can launch Foundups, Play Foundups, which is our app, and Foundups.com as a platform, I believe within 10 years we can replace the startup with the Foundup. And why is that? Well, because the startup is hell. The startups are impossible. Most people don't realize, but only about 0.025% of pre-seed startups, those are startups which have no initial investment capital, or has under 100,000 in sales, right, in revenue, right? So under 100,000, no seed investor, right? No angel, no, pretty much no support. Some kid from school, some guy doing, startup weekend or a hackathon with no access to capital, no access to capital networks. Less than 0.025% become seeded startups, startups that ultimately do over 2 million in sales or secure venture capital, right? Every startup in the world, all right, every internet startup in the world is seeking to become a seeded. They're looking for VCs, they're looking for angels, or they're looking for revenue of, over 2 million, in the course of their lifetime, right? So very, 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 very few pre-seed startups achieve that. So there's a massive opportunity to help people, because I believe that that's wrong. I believe that I should have a fair and reasonable chance, if I have a good idea, to launch it. And I've had many good ideas. In 2001, I launched something called Eduit, Education Using Information Technology. The whole premise behind Eduit is delivering autonomous learning through smart devices, removing teachers in schools. This is 2001. Imagine if I could have funded this project. By now, anyone in the world who would have access to the internet will be able to get an 8th grade equivalent, right? Using multimedia, open courseware, and you've got Khan Academy and everything else. I was talking about this before Khan Academy. The whole drive now with TED in my 2010 TED Talk, right, or 2009, my proposed talk, is what TED's doing now in 2014, pushing the whole idea of education, right, multimedia education. It's all there. I started this project in 2001 when I incorporated Eduit.org, Eduit.org, and you can go to the website and look at it. In 2009, I launched something called WikiTube TV. WikiTube TV had the first playlists, had the first streaming YouTube videos, right? You could make playlists, you could do streaming videos. I couldn't find any funders for it. I couldn't find any capital. The project died because of my inability to access capital. And ultimately, there are literally millions of ideas out there that are in the same shoes as mine. And I am an innovator, right? According to Simon, and I can't think of Simon's last name, according to the law of diffusion of innovation, right? The law of diffusion, only 2.5% of the population are innovators. I'm one of them. So in 2010, I got fed up. I got fed up of spending all this time on Eduit. I got fed up in having I got a prototype I could show people, and yet I still couldn't get funding. I went to these incubator places and say, hey, fund me, and I couldn't get any funding. I decided to start thinking about the system and disrupting it, and how we would disrupt it, and how more specific how to fix it. And that's 4 years of work has created the Foundup. The Foundup. The Foundup is a founder with an idea. That's it, a founder with an idea. You don't need a business plan. You don't need access to capital. You just have an idea. And our SaaS, software as a service solution, does all the rest on Foundups.com or Play Foundups. I'm looking for investors. If you're interested in supporting and getting behind this, I have lots of talks. I've got so much material out there that I need kind of people who are very specialists in a business plan writing, specialists in in basically taking everything that I have and putting it in a format for an investor. So if that's you, then let me know. But ultimately, the value proposition is this: within 10 years of launching Foundups, we will hijack the startup. We will make the startup redundant. My value proposition is this: is we can replace the startup with the Foundup, and in doing so, we change everything.